First story. The Whispering Pines, by Sarah Thompson. It was the summer of 2019 when my friends and I decided to embark on a camping trip to the remote Pinehurst National Forest in North Carolina. Excitement filled the air as we set up our tents, surrounded by towering pine trees that seemed to stretch endlessly into the night sky. The crackling of the campfire provided a comforting ambience, casting flickering shadows that danced on the forest floor. As the night progressed, we gathered around the fire, sharing stories and laughter. But as the embers died down, an eerie stillness settled over the campsite. Unbeknownst to us, the forest had a way of concealing its secrets until the dark of night. I awoke to a distant rustling sound, the wind carrying whispers through the pines. Assuming it was just the breeze, I tried to dismiss it and go back to sleep. However, the whispers grew more distinct, forming words that sent a shiver down my spine. "Leave, go away," the disembodied voices urged. I glanced at my friends, all fast asleep, oblivious to the unsettling serenade. Curiosity mingled with fear as I stepped out of my tent, the forest now alive with hushed warnings. My flashlight revealed nothing but the towering trees and the inky darkness beyond. Undeterred, I followed the source of the whispers, each step echoing in the quiet night. The forest seemed to close in around me, branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. As I ventured deeper, the whispers intensified, now sounding like urgent pleas. "Run! They're watching," the voices urged, growing more desperate. A cold sweat covered my body as I quickened my pace. Shadows danced in my peripheral vision, and the oppressive silence was broken only by the crunch of leaves beneath my feet. The air thickened with an unspoken dread, and a foreboding feeling settled over me like a heavy cloak. Suddenly, I stumbled upon an abandoned campsite, the remnants of a long-forgotten fire still warm to the touch. Tattered tents flapped in the breeze, and a sense of unease hung in the air. My heart pounded as I realized the whispers were coming from the decaying remains of a journal, pages filled with desperate entries detailing the inexplicable terrors that had driven the previous campers away. I rushed back to our campsite, waking my friends in a panic. The whispers lingered in the air, warning us to leave before the forest claimed us too. Terrified, we hastily packed our belongings and fled the whispering pines, the haunted voices fading as we put distance between ourselves and the malevolent forest. To this day, the memory of that night haunts me. The whispering pines, a place where the trees conceal the sins of the past, and the wind carries the desperate pleas of those who dared to listen. Second story. The Silent Observer, by Mark Harrison. In the fall of 2018, my girlfriend and I decided to explore the dense woods of Epping Forest in England. The ancient trees loomed overhead, their branches intertwining to create a natural canopy that filtered the sunlight, casting a dappled pattern on the forest floor. Little did we know, the beauty of Epping Forest hid a chilling secret. As we set up our tent near a babbling brook, the atmosphere was serene, the air filled with the sweet scent of pine. Night fell, and we nestled into our sleeping bags, the forest settling into an otherworldly quiet. It was a silence that seemed to amplify the beating of our hearts. Around midnight, a soft rustling reached my ears. At first, I dismissed it as the nocturnal activities of local wildlife. But the rustling persisted, growing louder and more deliberate. I nudged my girlfriend awake, and together we listened to the unsettling symphony of the forest. Creeping out of the tent, we discovered a figure standing in the shadows. A man, tall and gaunt, with hollow eyes that seemed to absorb the moonlight. He wore ragged clothing, and his unkempt hair framed a face etched with a twisted, malevolent grin. Fear gripped us as we stumbled backward, but the stranger made no move toward us. Instead, he stood perfectly still, observing us with an intensity that sent shivers down our spines. I called out, demanding to know who he was and what he wanted, but he remained silent, his gaze never wavering. As we retreated to our tent, the man followed at a distance, his presence a spectral specter haunting the edges of our campsite. We huddled together, the sound of his footsteps echoing in the stillness. The forest, once a sanctuary, had transformed into a claustrophobic labyrinth, and the weight of the stranger's gaze bore down on us. Hours passed, the man's silent vigil unbroken. Exhaustion mingled with terror as we awaited the first light of dawn. When morning finally arrived, the man vanished into the shadows, leaving no trace of his nocturnal visitation. We packed our belongings hastily, eager to escape the eerie grasp of Epping Forest. To this day, the memory of the silent observer lingers, a reminder that even in the heart of nature, unseen eyes may watch, and the line between tranquility and terror can be disturbingly thin. Third story, The Drowning Shadows, by Javier Rodriguez. It was the summer of 2021 when my friends and I embarked on a camping trip to the dense Black Forest in Germany. The towering trees and ancient folklore lent an air of mystique to the surroundings. Little did we know, our journey into the heart of the Black Forest would become a descent into darkness and paranoia. Our campsite was nestled near the edge of a tranquil lake, its still waters reflecting the looming shadows of the forest. As night fell, an eerie fog crept in, shrouding the landscape in a ghostly haze. We gathered around the campfire, our laughter and camaraderie echoing through the silent woods. As the night deepened, strange occurrences began to unfold. Unearthly whispers murmured through the fog, and the shadows seemed to dance with a life of their own. The atmosphere grew heavy, and a sense of foreboding settled over us like a suffocating cloak. In the dead of night, we heard the distant sounds of splashing coming from the lake. Cautiously, we approached the water's edge, our flashlights revealing ripples disturbing the otherwise still surface. Panic set in as we realized the shadows beneath the water moved independently, contorting into grotesque shapes that defied nature. A primal fear gripped us as the shadows coalesced into silhouettes of figures trapped in a watery abyss. Desperate faces, frozen in anguish, stared up at us from the depths. The air grew thick with the weight of their silent screams, and a chilling realization dawned upon us. The lake held the secrets of those who had met a tragic end. Suddenly, the shadows emerged from the water, clawing their way onto the shore. Translucent and ethereal, they circled our campsite with a malevolent intent. Whispers echoed in languages long forgotten, and a frigid wind carried the echoes of drowned souls. Terrified, we fled into the heart of the Black Forest, pursued by the haunting shadows. The trees seemed to close in around us, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers eager to claim us. The fog clung to our skin, and the oppressive darkness swallowed our feeble attempts to escape. Eventually, we stumbled upon an ancient ruin, the remnants of a forgotten chapel. Desperation forced us to seek refuge within its crumbling walls. The shadows, unable to breach the sacred ground, lingered at the edge, their ghostly figures haunting the periphery. As the first light of dawn broke through the trees, the shadows retreated back into the depths of the lake. We emerged from our makeshift sanctuary, shaken and scarred by the ordeal, the Black Forest, a place where the boundary between the living and the dead blurred, left an indelible mark on our souls. To this day, the memory of the drowning shadows serves as a chilling reminder that some mysteries are better left undisturbed, hidden within the dark recesses of the natural world. Fourth story, The Abandoned Settlement, by Emily Johnson. One autumn weekend in 2020, my friends and I decided to explore the dense woods of Appalachia, seeking solace in the tranquility of nature. We stumbled upon an old, forgotten trail that led us to the remnants of an abandoned settlement, hidden deep within the heart of the West Virginia mountains. As we ventured deeper into the woods, the foliage became dense, and the air grew heavy with an inexplicable tension. The remnants of dilapidated cabins emerged from the shadows, their skeletal frames standing as silent witnesses to a past long buried. An unsettling stillness hung in the air, broken only by the creaking of decaying wood and the distant howls of unseen creatures. Curiosity overcame caution as we explored the ghostly settlement. Faded photographs adorned the walls of the cabins, capturing moments of joy and community that now lay shattered. In the midst of this abandoned village, we discovered an old chapel, its doors creaking open as if inviting us to unveil the secrets within. As we stepped into the chapel, the temperature plummeted, and an otherworldly chill wrapped around us. A haunting melody echoed through the empty pews, the source unseen. The atmosphere thickened with a sense of despair, and shadows danced on the walls, manifesting the anguish of the long-forgotten residents. A spectral figure materialized at the altar, its ethereal form clad in tattered garments. The ghostly inhabitants of the settlement, trapped in a perpetual purgatory, revealed themselves. Their mournful gazes pleaded for release from the curse that bound them to this desolate place. Desperation turned to dread as the ghostly figures encircled us, their hollow eyes penetrating our souls. Whispers filled the air, recounting tales of betrayal, loss, and the tragic events that led to the settlement's demise. The air grew thick with sorrow, and an oppressive force seemed to press against our chests. In a panic, we fled the chapel, the ghostly entourage in pursuit. The forest, once a sanctuary, became a labyrinth of haunting memories. Shadows twisted and contorted, mimicking the tormented souls of the abandoned settlement. Each step felt like an eternity as we struggled to escape the clutches of the vengeful spirits. Finally, we emerged from the dense woods, gasping for breath as the spectral figures dissipated into the shadows. The abandoned settlement, a place where the sins of the past clung to the very fabric of the environment, left an indelible mark on our minds. To this day, the memory of the ghostly apparition serves as a chilling reminder that some places bear the weight of tragedy, and the line between the living and the dead can blur in the most unsuspecting corners of the natural world. Fifth story, The Midnight Cult, by Xavier Williams. In the summer of 2017, my brother and I decided to embark on a camping trip to the remote Redwood National Park in California. The towering trees created an otherworldly canopy, and the fragrance of pine permeated the air. Little did we know, our journey into the heart of the redwoods would expose us to a sinister force lurking in the shadows. Our campsite was nestled near a tranquil creek, the moon casting a silvery glow on the towering trees. As night fell, we exchanged stories around the campfire, the crackling flames providing a false sense of security. The forest, however, had its own plans for the night. Around midnight, a rhythmic chanting echoed through the woods. We exchanged puzzled glances, our curiosity overcoming the initial unease. Venturing deeper into the redwoods, we stumbled upon a clearing bathed in moonlight, revealing a group of hooded figures surrounding an ominous bonfire. Their chants grew louder, the language unfamiliar and unsettling. The air thickened with an inexplicable energy as the hooded figures moved in synchronized patterns, their movements both mesmerizing and disturbing. Symbols were etched into the forest floor, and the shadows seemed to dance with an unnatural life. Fear gnawed at our insides as we realized we had stumbled upon a midnight cult performing a ritual beneath the ancient redwoods. The forest, once serene, now bore witness to a ceremony that defied comprehension. It became clear that we were not meant to be mere observers. The cultists had sensed our presence. With a sudden realization, the chanting ceased, and the hooded figures turned toward us with hollow eyes that gleamed in the moonlight. Panic set in as we sprinted through the dense underbrush, their relentless pursuit echoing through the silent forest. The redwoods, with their towering majesty, became a labyrinth of shadows and paranoia. Branches reached out like skeletal hands, and the moonlight cast elongated shadows that seemed to follow our every move. Desperation gripped us as we struggled to find our way back to the safety of our campsite. Exhausted and disoriented, we stumbled upon an ancient tree with roots that formed a natural shelter. The cultists, mere shadows in the distance, surrounded our makeshift sanctuary, their eyes gleaming in the darkness. A sense of impending doom hung in the air as the symbols etched into the forest floor glowed with an otherworldly light. As dawn broke, the cultists retreated into the shadows, their ritual incomplete. We emerged from our hiding place, shaken and scarred by the encounter. The redwoods, once a symbol of natural wonder, now held a darker secret, a midnight cult that worshipped in the heart of the ancient forest. To this day, the memory of the hooded figures and their unholy ritual serves as a chilling reminder that even in the most majestic landscapes, the forces that lurk in the shadows can shatter the illusion of serenity, plunging the unsuspecting into a realm of darkness and malevolence. Sixth story, The Vanishing Lake, by Isabella Martinez. In the spring of 2016, my husband and I embarked on a camping trip to the remote highlands of Scotland. Drawn by the allure of rugged landscapes, we set up our tent near a pristine lake nestled between the rolling hills. Little did we know, the tranquility of the Scottish Highlands held a secret that would unravel with each passing night. Our first evening by the lake was idyllic. The setting sun painted the sky in hues of orange and pink, reflecting on the calm waters. As night descended, a symphony of croaking frogs provided a natural lullaby. It was a serene scene that masked the unsettling events that would unfold. On the second night, we were awakened by an inexplicable chill in the air. The lake, once a mirror of the night sky, now reflected a foreboding darkness. A thick fog cloaked the surroundings, obscuring the landscape. Confused, we ventured toward the water's edge, our flashlight beams revealing an eerie sight. The lake, as if swallowed by the shadows, had disappeared. In its place lay an expansive expanse of damp, moss-covered ground. The once serene waters were replaced by a desolate bog that seemed to stretch beyond the limits of our perception. The air grew heavy with a damp, earthy scent that clung to our clothes. In the distance, we heard the faint cries of distressed wildlife, echoing through the mist. The haunting sound sent shivers down our spines as we navigated the treacherous terrain, desperately trying to comprehend the inexplicable transformation that had befallen the once beautiful lake. As we delved deeper into the bog, the fog thickened, distorting our sense of direction. Shapes moved in the shadows, elusive and indistinct. Whispers of spectral voices echoed through the air, each word laden with an ancient lament. It became apparent that the vanishing lake was a portal to a realm where the natural order of the world had been disrupted. Lost and disoriented, we stumbled upon an ancient stone circle hidden within the fog. The air crackled with an otherworldly energy as the stones seemed to resonate with the mysterious forces at play. Symbols carved into the stones told a tale of forgotten rituals and a connection to realms beyond the mortal grasp. Terrified, we retraced our steps, the cries of the bog echoing in our ears. With each passing moment, the fog dissipated, and the familiar sight of the lake gradually reemerged. The once vanished waters returned, but the memory of the spectral realm lingered, etched into the fabric of the Scottish Highlands. To this day, the mystery of the vanishing lake remains unresolved. The Scottish Highlands, a place where the boundaries between reality and the supernatural blur, harbors secrets that defy explanation. The serenity of nature, once taken for granted, now serves as a reminder that even in the most picturesque landscapes, the unknown may lurk just beneath the surface. 7th story. The Haunting Echoes, by Daniel Turner. It was the autumn of 2018 when my group of friends and I decided to embark on a camping trip in the dense woods of Transylvania, Romania. Drawn by the allure of myth and folklore, we set up our campsite near an ancient burial ground, surrounded by towering trees that seemed to reach for the sky. Little did we know, the haunting echoes of the past would soon come to life. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the forest, we gathered around the campfire, sharing stories and laughter. The air was filled with a palpable energy, a mixture of excitement and trepidation. Unbeknownst to us, the ancient woods were listening, and the spirits that dwelled within were eager to make their presence known. As the night settled in, a mysterious mist enveloped the campsite, blurring the line between reality and the supernatural. Strange, ethereal lights danced in the darkness, casting an otherworldly glow on the trees. The air grew thick with an unspoken tension, and the usual sounds of the forest were replaced by an eerie silence. Suddenly, the ground beneath us began to tremble, and distant whispers echoed through the trees. The ancient burial ground, marked by weathered gravestones, seemed to come alive with an energy that transcended the earthly realm. Shadows danced between the tombstones, taking on humanoid forms that moved with an unsettling grace. As we stood frozen in fear, the echoes of long-forgotten voices filled the air. The spirits of the past, trapped between worlds, recounted tales of tragedy, betrayal, and unfulfilled destinies. The spectral figures moved in a haunting choreography, their movements mirroring the anguish etched into the gravestones. Unable to tear our eyes away from the spectral display, we felt an invisible force guiding us toward the heart of the ancient burial ground. The whispers grew more insistent, urging us to uncover the secrets buried within the shadows of the past. Reluctantly, we followed the ghostly procession, each step echoing in the hollow stillness of the night. As we reached the center of the burial ground, the mist coalesced into a ghostly figure, its features obscured by a tattered shroud. The air became charged with an otherworldly energy, and the spirits around us fell silent, awaiting a revelation from the ghostly presence. With a mournful gaze, the apparition revealed the tragic tale of a love lost centuries ago, a tale of betrayal and a promise unfulfilled. The haunting echoes of the past lingered in the air, leaving us breathless and spellbound. As the first light of dawn broke through the trees, the mist dissipated, and the ancient burial ground returned to its silent slumber. The spirits, having shared their haunting echoes, retreated into the shadows, leaving us standing amidst the gravestones, forever changed by the spectral encounter. To this day, the memory of that night in the Transylvanian woods serves as a testament to the thin veil between the living and the dead. The ancient spirits, their stories etched into the fabric of the forest, remind us that some mysteries are best left undisturbed, their haunting echoes echoing through the corridors of time. 8th story, The Labyrinth of Shadows, by Lucas Taylor. In the winter of 2015, a group of friends and I embarked on a camping trip to the remote Aokigahara forest at the base of Mount Fuji in Japan. Known as the Sea of Trees, the forest's dense foliage and eerie quietness set the stage for an unsettling experience. Little did we know, the labyrinth of shadows within Aokigahara held secrets that transcended the natural world. As we set up our campsite amidst the towering trees, the air became dense with an oppressive stillness. The moon cast a ghostly glow on the forest floor, and the shadows seemed to stretch and contort in ways that defied the laws of nature. Unease settled over the group as we huddled around the campfire, the flames flickering as if in response to unseen forces. In the dead of night, strange symbols appeared on the tree trunks, glowing with an otherworldly light. The forest, once a sanctuary, transformed into a maze of shifting shadows and disorienting illusions. We found ourselves drawn into the heart of the labyrinth, unable to resist the spectral forces that guided our every step. Whispers echoed through the trees, their unintelligible words creating an unsettling symphony. The air resonated with an ancient energy as we navigated the twisting paths, the towering trees forming an impenetrable canopy above us. Shadows detached themselves from the tree trunks, taking on grotesque shapes that seemed to mock our intrusion. As we delved deeper into the labyrinth, the temperature plummeted, and an unnatural cold seeped into our bones. We glimpsed fleeting apparitions between the trees, phantoms with hollow eyes that stared into the depths of our souls. Each step became a descent into an otherworldly realm, the boundaries between reality and the supernatural blurring. Suddenly, the labyrinth opened into a clearing, revealing an ancient shrine bathed in an eerie blue light. The air pulsated with a spectral energy, and the symbols on the shrine seemed to writhe with life. A ghostly figure materialized, clad in traditional Japanese garb, its features obscured by a porcelain mask. With a mournful gesture, the spirit revealed the tragic history of Aokigahara, a place where the tormented souls of the lost lingered between worlds. The labyrinth of shadows, a manifestation of the forest's haunted legacy, had ensnared us in its spectral embrace. The apparition urged us to leave before we, too, became trapped in the endless maze of darkness. Terrified, we retraced our steps, the shadows closing in around us. The labyrinth seemed to shift and morph, disorienting our senses. As we emerged from the depths of Aokigahara, the forest returned to an illusion of normalcy, but the memory of the labyrinth of shadows lingered, a testament to the ancient forces that dwelled within the Sea of Trees. To this day, the tale of our night in Aokigahara serves as a chilling reminder that some places are conduits to realms beyond human understanding, and the shadows that dance between the trees hold secrets that may forever elude mortal comprehension. 9th story, The Forgotten Mine, by Olivia Clark. In the summer of 2019, my friends and I decided to explore the dense forests of the Appalachian Mountains in West Virginia. The allure of hidden gems led us to an abandoned mine, nestled deep within the wooded expanse. Little did we know, the forgotten mine harbored more than just memories of the past. Our campsite sat on the edge of a cliff, offering a panoramic view of the forest below. The sun dipped below the horizon, and we gathered around the campfire, the crackling flames casting dancing shadows on the trees. As the night unfolded, an unease settled over the group, as if the very air resonated with a long-buried secret. Curiosity got the better of us, and we decided to explore the abandoned mine on the second night. The entrance, overgrown with vines and obscured by the shadows, seemed to beckon us with a silent invitation. Armed with flashlights, we descended into the depths of the forgotten tunnels, the air thick with the scent of damp earth. As we ventured deeper, strange markings adorned the mine walls, symbols that spoke of a bygone era and a purpose long lost to time. The tunnels twisted and turned, creating a disorienting labyrinth that seemed to have a will of its own. The echoes of our footsteps were joined by distant whispers, as if the very mine walls retained the memories of the past. In the heart of the mine, we stumbled upon an abandoned chamber. Rusty tools lay scattered, and the remnants of forgotten lives lingered in the stale air. As we explored, a chill ran down our spines. The mine was not as abandoned as it seemed. Shadows danced on the walls, taking on human forms that mimicked our movements. A sense of foreboding settled over the group as we realized the shadows were not mere illusions. They were the spectral remnants of miners, their faces etched with a silent plea for recognition. The mine, once a place of labor and industry, had become a purgatory for the souls trapped within its depths. Desperation turned to panic as the shadows closed in around us. Their silent cries echoed through the tunnels, pleading for release. We fled the mine, the oppressive darkness giving way to the moonlit forest. As we emerged into the night air, the mine seemed to exhale a sigh of relief, the shadows dissipating into the cool mountain breeze. To this day, the memory of the forgotten mine haunts me. The Appalachian Mountains, with their hidden secrets and abandoned relics, serve as a reminder that the past is never truly buried. The shadows of history may linger in the forgotten corners of the natural world, waiting to be unearthed by those who dare to delve into the depths. 10th story, The Whispers in the Fog, by Gabriella Turner. In the autumn of 2017, my partner and I embarked on a camping trip to the mist-shrouded moors of Dartmoor in England. The ancient landscape, dotted with stone circles and burial mounds, seemed to harbor a quiet mystique. Little did we know, the whispers in the fog held secrets that transcended the boundaries of the living. Our campsite was nestled near an ancient tor, the looming rocks obscured by thick layers of mist. As night fell, the moors transformed into a surreal dreamscape, the moon casting an ethereal glow on the fog that clung to the landscape. The air became charged with an unspoken energy, and the silence was broken only by the distant calls of unseen creatures. On the second night, the fog thickened, wrapping the moors in a dense shroud that reduced visibility to mere feet. Strange noises echoed through the mist, footsteps that seemed to follow our every move. As we huddled around the campfire, the whispers began, faint and unintelligible at first, like the rustling of leaves in the wind. Intrigued, we ventured into the fog, our flashlights cutting through the murky veil. Shadows danced in the periphery, taking on ethereal shapes that seemed to move independently of the mist. The whispers grew more distinct, forming fragmented sentences that hinted at tales untold. As we navigated the moors, we stumbled upon an ancient burial mound, its moss-covered stones standing as sentinels of a forgotten era. The whispers intensified, emanating from the very earth beneath our feet. The fog coalesced into spectral figures, clad in tattered clothing, their features obscured by the mist. The apparitions, trapped between the worlds of the living and the dead, beckoned us to listen to their stories. They spoke of ancient rituals, lost civilizations, and the passage of time that rendered their existence a mere echo in the fog. A haunting sadness lingered in their voices, a lament for a past that could never be reclaimed. As dawn approached, the mist began to dissipate, and the spectral figures retreated into the folds of the moors. We were left standing amidst the ancient stones, the whispers in the fog fading into the early morning silence. The moors, once a place of natural beauty, now held the imprint of otherworldly encounters. To this day, the memory of the whispers in the fog serves as a reminder that the ancient landscapes of Dartmoor are not merely physical entities but repositories of history and spirits long forgotten. The moors, with their misty embrace, remain a canvas where the whispers of the past may be heard by those willing to listen. Thank you for sticking with us through the whole video. Also, I recommend you this video you see on screen, one of the scariest on my channel. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. This helps me bring you more thrilling content every day. If this video sent shivers down your spine, let me know in the comments.